What's up, League? Chris here for our Week 4 preview video. Doing it right here during kickoff here. So if you see me distracted, it's because I got the Pats game over here to my right. And hopefully you can't hear it, otherwise YouTube's going to ban the video. So let's look back at what happened in Week 3. I know I missed last week's video. We had a lot going on, so hopefully I will keep up a continuous pace, maybe add a little bit more editing. I just got to kind of get a schedule together for that, but that's commish biz. Don't worry about that. So let's look back at last week and our first matchup. We'll just get it out of the way. I lost to Bill by 5 points, and I'll probably hear about it for the rest of the year. But, you know, what can I do? It was a tough matchup. So Bill had 6 players with 10 or more points, including 5 players with 16 or more, led by Todd Gurley with 25. Also got 20 points from Travis Kelce, so that was a nice counterbalance to me playing Mahomes, because that siphoned some of his points to counteract that. And, of course, the Pats didn't help Bill. I would thought, you know, it was pretty much a lockup for him on that. And then things didn't go good for the Pats. And then, of course, a garbage touchdown for Kenny Golladay ended up giving Bill the victory. You know, my boys, Mahomes, Saquon, Mike Thomas, still crushing it. Tyreek Hill was missing in action last week. If anyone sees him, hopefully we can find him on the field today. Defense did prove to be my downfall. I got -4 points from the Chargers. Thought about playing the Cowboys instead. If I did, their 4 points plus the -4 that I got would have been enough to give me the win, but can't go back and change that now. So again, a big win there for Bill, so he goes to 3-0 and I'll slide to 2-1. Next matchup, another close one, as Chad defeated Mark 125-120. Chad had good days from Pittsburgh boys, Big Ben and Juju. Ben had 25, Juju with 21. And then also had 16 apiece from Kareem Hunt and Melvin Gordon. So good contributions there at the top of his lineup. And, you know, Chad's capitalizing on the sadness of losing Khalil Mack. Tom, what are you doing? As he's riding the Bears defense right now, who picked up another 15 points, and they're looking really good. Chad also had a lot of points on his bench, so I think he's got some options for this week. And then looking over at Mark's side, he had a big day from Robert Woods, also another one this week. We'll get into that further in the video. But other than that, he had 4 scores in double figures. And unfortunately, Blake Bortles had the same amount of points as his defense and his kicker, which is not a stat you like to see. So we'll see if Bortles can turn things around for Mark, as I think he just got rid of Tyrod Taylor there. As if you didn't see, there was a trade this week between Mark and Jeff, which we'll get to in a few minutes here. So our next matchup, a big win for Stu over Tom P., winning 141-94. Drew Brees lit it up for Stu at 3 passing touchdowns, ran for 2, had a nice spin move in there. So big day for Drew Brees. He's letting his boy Aaron Rodgers just ride the pine. You know, not too trusty in Rodgers right now with that knee. So Stu is going to ride Drew Brees to victory. And he also had a nice 23 points from Carlos Hyde in his flex. So I assume he'll be up to his running back too, as Stu doesn't really have much depth there beyond those 2 guys. So we'll see what Stu works in his flex position this week, as I assume Hyde will now be his number 2 running back. And then looking at Tom Pastore, you know, you had 7 players in double figures, which usually will get you the win, but none of them scored above 14 points there. So nobody really having a big day on Tom's side of the ball to really push him over. He also is dealing with the Devontae Freeman injury, so he might be in the market for a running back. So again, trades are open. Let's get the trade activity going, as we broke the ice this week with a trade between Mark and Jeff. So now we'll get into that. Here is Jeff picked up a 130-95 victory over Reed to stay at 3-0 on the season. Matty Ice aired it out for 40 points, a lot of them going to Ridley, who was on my bench last week. Again, could have played him and beat Bill, but didn't. But let's forget about the past. And he had 21 points for Jarvis, and also 14-point days for Matt Breida and James Connors. Looking like a nice move there for Jeff early in the season. Let's go, Sony. Rip one off, baby. There we go. He's on my bench this week. So let's see what Jeff does. As he made the trade with Mark here, he added Gronk, trading away Trey Burton and somebody else I should have checked and saw. But he improved his tight end position there with Gronk. And then looking at Reed's side of the ball, he had a big day from Alvin Kamara there in that shootout between the Saints and the Falcons. Also had nice afternoons for Devonta Adams and Marvin Jones. But looking at Reed's team, he had more points on his bench than in his lineup, so he's got some options there, and it's about him finding that right combination. Patriots holding now. Good job, guys. So there again, Jeff getting the win over Reed. Next up, Tom McGuire getting his first victory of the year, defeating Tyler 113-76. Tom had 5 players with 15 or more points, led by 29 from Cam. So Tom had some good consistency in his lineup, and he's still waiting for Amari Cooper to come around. So should that day come for Tom, he could have a solid squad moving forward. Looking over at Tyler's team, again, a rough day with 76 points, and a third of them coming from Mike Evans. So don't want just to have one workhorse there, as Evans did have a big day and looks to have a nice chemistry there with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who we'll see if he's getting started. I think he's getting started this week for someone's team. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in the next one. Brian Cunningham talking about you. And then, excuse me, Tyler's still dealing with no Le'Veon Bell, so he's probably hoping he gets traded here shortly, and then did get 20 points from Sterling Shepard and 15 from Mohamed Sanu, but unfortunately they were on his bench. So I think Tyler's got Shepard in his flex this week, so we'll see if he can keep being productive there for Tyler, and he looks for his first win still. And then our final matchup from last week, we had Trevor defeating Brian by 30 points, 128-98. Trevor had 4 players with 22 or more points, including Jimmy G, Christian McCaffrey, Will Fuller. But, of course, Jimmy G went down with the knee injury, so now he's got to put his eggs in the old Andy Dalton basket. So we'll see if that is going to be fortuitous for Trevor, or if he's going to have to look for someone else at the top of his lineup. And he did have Demaryius on his bench along with Cooper Kupp. Also kept Cooper on the bench this week as he had a huge day Thursday night. But other than that, we also saw for Trevor, he did leave some points on his bench, that's Brian. Brian had 6 players with 10 or more points, led by Giovanni Bernard, but did leave a lot of points on his bench. He went with Wentz over Fitzpatrick or Stafford, and also only got 4 points from Randall Cobb in his flex spot. So we'll see if Brian can get the right mix and match of players this week. And as we look into this week's matchups, which I know everyone's excited for, currently I'm down 36-0 at the time of kickoff to Tom. He got a big day from Brandon Cooks, had 26 points. Pat's down to the goal line. Is that Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon just caught the ball, guys. I don't know when the last time he did that, but he just did that. Almost got in the end zone, too. I had to see what he did here. Oh, a little slant, just a little post pattern. Josh Gordon spinning on a guy. All right, down to the 2. You can see that on SportsCenter, I'm sure. So, like I said, Tom got 26 from Cooks to help build that early 36-0 lead. It's projected that I'll pull out a 2-point victory, so it's going to be a tight matchup today. I'm really hoping Tyreek Hill shows up, and I have to see what goes on in San Francisco now that Jimmy G's out. Hopefully Kittle is still active in my tight end slot. Next matchup, another nail biter this week. Mark is projected to defeat Tom Pastore by 1 point, 105-104, and is currently up 22-0, thanks to 22 points from Robert Woods in the Thursday night game. But again, Blake Bortles is captaining this squad, and I don't trust him. He only had 8 points last week, so we'll see what Blake does this week. And Tom, it's a tight one. He's looking for his first win, so we'll see if Tom can get the chemistry together to get the W. Sony Michel cannot get through the line. What are you doing? All right, next up, we got Bill and Stu. Bill's projected a 10-point win right now, 121-111, and is up 25-0 after Thursday night from 25 points from Todd Gurley. And I'm hoping that Stu can get it together and deal Bill his first loss, as I came up short last week, and he's one of those 3-0 teams. Next up, we got Reed versus Chad at Battle of the Bensons, either the first or second edition so far this year. Reed projected to take a 6-point victory, 117-111, currently up 23-0. And he had 32 points from Kirk Cousins. Tom, ball's tipped, no pick, thank God. It was looked like Cordell Patterson. So we had 32 from Kirk Cousins, but the Minnesota defense gave up 9 points to drop Reed down a little bit there. And then Chad, again, he's projected 111, so that's a consistent day for Chad. We'll see if he can exceed those expectations today in battle against Reed. Next up, Jeff is projected to defeat Trevor 131-107, but Trevor holds a 42-7 lead entering the day. Got 28 points from Thielen Thursday night. He's got Leonard Fournette back this week, but did have 38 points from Cooper Kupp on his bench. So that could end up backfiring there for Trevor if it ends up being a close match. That's a lot of points. And then Jeff, though, he's right there with Trevor, left 40 points on his bench right now. Jared Goff not getting the start after a big week from Matty Ice. Goff lighting it up. So that'll be a tough battle for Jeff moving forward, maybe deciding who's going to start with Goff playing so well this year. And then our last matchup is the battle of the BFFs as Tyler is taking on Brian. 117-104 projection for Tyler to pick up the win this week, which would be his first, I believe, of the season. Yes. And he is up 24-0 after 24 points from Stephon Diggs Thursday night. And he's going to roll Russell Wilson over Eli this week for his quarterback decision. And as far as Brian goes, he's got Ryan Fitzpatrick in this week instead of putting him on the bench like he did last week. So hopefully Fitzpatrick can keep things going. We know Jameis Winston's back as well, but Fitzpatrick's still getting the start. So that's our Week 4 video. We did our Week 3 recap, Week 4 preview. Looking at our standings, we got 2 teams undefeated right now. Jeff and Bill at the top at 3-0. 4 teams at 2-1 with myself, Chad, Trevor, and Stu. 4 teams at 1-2, Reed, Tom McGuire, Mark, and Brian, and 2 teams at 0-3 in Tyler and Tom Pastore. So a lot of parity this year. It's been a lot of close matchups. Everyone's team is performing well. I'm really excited for how the season's been going, guys. And I'm looking forward to making more of these videos and seeing how things progress. So again, that's this week's video. I think there's still a couple of guys who haven't paid their dues yet, so check the link to this side, I believe, over here. Jeff posted a thread about payment information, so just go through there and just drop the 25 in through PayPal. If you have to work out something else other than that, we can try to arrange it. Just let me know. But other than that, it's time to watch the Pats, so good luck, everybody.